Bismillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the kick-off session of the Muslimah Self-Care Conference 2020. It's not the first self-care conference ever. It will definitely not be the last, but I think it's probably one of the most needed self-care conferences in one of the most stressful years that we have had potentially in our lifetime so far. What with COVID and lockdown and quarantine and just general fears about the way our world is changing, what with unrest and tension and police violence and protests sweeping the world, what with our values being tried and tested, what with us questioning the way that we live, the way that we are as families, the way that we educate our children, what with all the questions that have arisen as a result of 2020, it seems to me that this year, more than any other year, we need to do some serious loving on ourselves. And why do I say this? Because as women, and in particular as Muslim women, we know how much our families depend on us. And a lot of the time, we see that family dependence as being on how we can help them practically, how we can be there for them practically, how we can help them emotionally, how we can guide them, how we can be strong for them. And very rarely do we focus on what that will require of us and what we need to be doing for ourselves in order to be of service to those around us who need us so much. So what we've done for this conference is we've brought together an amazing group of speakers who each one of them is currently working with sisters, helping them to achieve in their particular area of life, whether that achievement is work-related, is personal, is emotional, is mental, is physical. Every one of these sisters, mashallah, is out there doing the work. And it really is an honor for me to have them all on this platform, ready to be at your service, inshallah. One of the things that I said to all the speakers last week was, I had a moment where I asked myself, if I had 6 months to live, what would I be doing now? What would I start doing? What would I stop doing? What would I do more of? What would I do less of? And the reality is, as we all know, none of us has our time guaranteed. None of us is guaranteed another week, another month, another year, another 10 years. And so if that is the case, what is the significance of us being together in this space? And I always start, really every talk that I do, I always start by saying Alhamdulillah, because there are people who intended to come and be in this space where they could be nourished, where they could be held and fed and nurtured, and they intended to be here for the sake of Allah, and it was not written for them. And then there's some of you who maybe didn't intend to be here at all, didn't even know anything about the conference, and here you are, Qadr of Allah. And so I always say Alhamdulillah, because if Allah brings you to a space where you can be reminded of Him and your duty towards Him and how you can better yourself as an individual, as a Muslim, as a woman, then this is definitely a ni'mah from Allah. And so really, what I'd like to do today to kick us off is for us to, first and foremost, renew our intention. Why are you here? And I say this to my panelists, so you guys know we already had this conversation. I asked my panelists also to remember why we are here. How come is it that we have been blessed with the ability to serve these women? And I think we all know why. Because every one of us has been through something that has equipped us to be able to be a light for others. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us people, tools, experiences, certificates, learning that allows us now to be in a position where we can be of service. And this is a huge blessing, I feel, for myself, and I'm sure you all agree with me. And then for you, my sisters who are here, whether you're here live, whether you're watching the replay, I invite you to ask yourself, why am I here? What do you hope to gain from this weekend? This is not a conference where you come and you listen to some speakers and then you kind of go on with your life. Make intention for this time that you spend with us to be truly meaningful. And for it to be truly meaningful, your intention should be straight, and you should be here to learn, to grow, to get the benefit from the situation, from these people. Don't be a passive listener. Be an active listener. Take an active role in your learning. Ask those questions, even those questions that you think are silly, even those questions that you think, oh, that's, I don't want anyone to know that that's my question. Ask the questions. Be thirsty for the knowledge. Be thirsty for the growth. Go after it. You're here. You bought your ticket and you turned up. So make the most of it, inshallah. And with that being said, I would like to just do like a really quick fire round of introductions for the speakers. I will let you introduce yourselves, ladies. Just tell us who you are and who you serve, inshallah, and then we're going to get on with this discussion, inshallah. That was a heavy start, but that's okay. So ladies, you can unmute and you can go, whoever would like to go first, inshallah. Just tell us who you are and who you serve, and then we're going to get talking about this self-care thing. Who's going to go first? Everyone's looking so modest and shy, and they're all like, oh, not me, no, it's fine. Amira, you're on my, no, you're not on my right, actually. Raisa, you're on my right, so go ahead, girl. You can just unmute.
Okay, there we go. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. And I am Raisa Ghiwala. I am the divorced Muslimah coach, and I help Muslimas whose marriages have broken down to come back to their true, whole, healed self, their fitrah, be unbreakable so they can take charge of the beautiful life they deserve to have with clarity, fearless confidence, and innate resilience. And I'm so honored to be here to serve you.
I love that, mashallah. I love that, love that, love that. Okay, so she set the bar high. Afra, you're next in my line from what I can see. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Afra. I go by Afra Saeed on Instagram. I am a postpartum doula. I serve mothers from pregnancy, moms who are new moms, like pregnant women, to postpartum, and even mothers, just basically filling in the gaps where they might need support or help through their journey becoming a mother. Because, we've, as you said, we've all been there, and we know where those gaps need to be filled in. So, yeah.
MashaAllah. Amazing. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much, and it's wonderful to have you here. Layinka, you're up next.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm Layinka, and I work with women who have been through tumultuous times to become grounded in their self-worth. And I work in the realm of healing. I've moved into that space recently, and it's phenomenal, alhamdulillah. And it's wonderful to see women become grounded in their self-worth through their healing. And I'm grateful that we get to be here together and share the space. And I get to share the space with some incredible women. So alhamdulillah, thank you so much for inviting me, Narima.
Lovely to have you here. My sister Idil, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hope all is well. My name is Idil. I'm a nutritionist, a health educator. I work with women to help them thrive, heal and thrive in their body. I believe food is your medicine, and I really use my kitchen as my pharmacy. I believe in holistic ways of healing, using plant-based medicine and herbs and spices, really going back to the way food was used to nourish intentionally. I look forward to sharing the space with all the women here. I really believe in self-care as healthcare, and food is, like, in that essence, the most important self-care act you perform every day.
Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much, Idil. It's wonderful to have you here. It's our first time having you on our platform, so I'm really happy. And Afra as well, mashallah. It's the first timers are here, and then we've got our old timers. Layinka is a vet. Zahra is also a veteran, mashallah, and Rais has been here before too, alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. Zahra, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. It's such an honor and a privilege to be here speaking with you all. My name is Zara. I am the founder and the community lead of the Fariha Network. And we are a women's network aimed at cultivating empowered and resilient women. One of the key things that we strive to do is to help the women of our network reconnect with our Rabb and find that intersection between spiritual development and personal development, so that we can not only rewire our personal potential, but do so with a strong connection and grounding in the deen. Alhamdulillah. So excited to be here, and really looking forward to this weekend.
MashaAllah, fantastic, alhamdulillah. All right, next I've got Sister Amira in front of me. Go ahead, sis.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So I'm Amira Zaki, and I'm a coach specializing in helping women improve their sex lives, specifically in helping women who experience painful sex or a condition known as vaginismus, which I'll talk about more during this talk and inshallah during my talk on Sunday. So I help women who experience painful sex, the condition vaginismus, or a general fear of penetrative sex or intercourse. And I also help, newly married women or women who are soon to be married, who have a fear of intercourse or a fear of their wedding night. I help them to kind of overcome those fears so that they can have a pleasurable, enjoyable experience on their wedding nights and beyond, inshallah. So I'm really excited to be here and kind of tie together, a woman's intimate life and her sex life with self-care, inshallah.
Lovely, and I'm so happy to have you here as well, mashallah. I think it's your first time on the virtual salon platform too, so super happy to welcome you here, mashallah. And we've got our midnight owl, our tahajjud tiger, mashallah, Sister Khadija in Australia. Go ahead, sis.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies. I'm very glad to be here, alhamdulillah, especially when I didn't realize it was on at this time, so alhamdulillah. My name is Khadija. I'm a degree qualified parenting coach, and I really empower, and I'm very passionate about empowering mothers to parent from a place of worthiness, from a place of really showing up authentically in their life. And I have a real passion about coming from a place of surviving to a place of thriving. And particularly focused on mothers of boys, because I have 5 boys, alhamdulillah.
Inshallah.
And I just think the area of to raising boys got between 15 months and 21, so alhamdulillah. Yeah. But really, want to really raise our boys in a place where they feel emotionally healthy, inshallah. So they grow up emotionally and mentally healthy, inshallah.
Amazing, amazing, mashallah. So as you guys can see, it's a very, very vast array of skills that we have, and that we have on this platform, mashallah, on this panel. So today is a kickoff. What does kickoff mean? Kickoff means that we're just going to have some banter. Do you know what I mean? We're just going to have some bants. We're just going to have a little bit of chat, a little bit of like throwing ideas back and forth, because the real like hardcore learning will happen over the weekend, inshallah, when each of our wonderful speakers will get a chance to have her own time with you to really go into detail and in depth on what it is that she teaches. So I guess the first question I have that I'd like us to have a conversation about, and those of you who are attending, please feel free to take part in the comments. What are the biggest challenges, that Muslim women in particular face when it comes to self-care? But firstly, before we go there, do we all have the same understanding of self-care and what self-care is? Does anybody want to just like throw out, their personal definition of self-care? But before we get that, those of you who are attending, what do you think self-care is? So if I asked you to complete that sentence, self-care is, put in the chat what you would say. And then panelists, whoever wants to go first with your definition, your personal definition of self-care, go ahead, inshallah. It's a free for all, by the way. You can be unmuted, you can interrupt each other, you can talk over each other, it's fine. You don't have to go one by one. If you don't want to answer that question, you don't have to. If you've got lots to say, jump in. So I'm waiting for my ladies in the chat to say, what is self-care, ladies? What are we saying? Okay, messages coming in. So we've got looking after myself physically, mentally, and emotionally. We've got self-care is loving yourself unconditionally, Samin says. Zafreen says, looking after myself to be able to serve others. Walid says, it is respecting and honoring yourself. Rafia says, it's taking time out to reset yourself. Amara says, I love this. Thank you for being so honest. She says, I get really confused about this one. This is good, okay? How far is looking after myself and how much is selfishness? Ladies, take notes. We're going to talk about that. Sis says, Habiba says, a holistic love of myself, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Zainab says, being kind to myself. Rahima says, it's looking after myself physically and spiritually. Right. So, ladies, panelists, do you have a different definition of self-care? That's the first question. And the second question is, I think we should speak to what the sister said about the balance between caring for yourself and being selfish. Who would like to go first? Yes,
okay.
Go ahead.
Go on, Raisa.
Okay. I love this. I love all of your contributions here. And, Sharifa saying, I'm still trying to figure. Yeah, it's always a work in progress. It's a journey of self-care. For me, what self-care really means is that you are able to give yourself what you need without permission, without validation from external sources, that you're able to step into your truth and live your life according to that, according to your truth and what is right for you, while pleasing Allah, because you know that this is inherently, within yourself that taking care of yourself is an act of worship. It is an amana that Allah has trusted you with, your body, your mind, your soul, your heart on loan, to return back to Him. So it's on you to take care of it. So no need to feel guilty about it. No need to feel anything about it. Do what you need to do to fill your own cup so that there you can serve from your overflow.
I love that. So fill your own cup so you can serve from your overflow. Hold on a second. Is that a quote? Did you make that yourself?
Yes.
Someone?
Yes. Lisa Nichols. Lisa Nichols, I love her saying that she never serves from her cup. She always serves from her overflow. And I've always been like, yes, girl, yes. And that's why for me, self-care isn't an act of selfishness, because selfishness is when you put yourself and you are only concerned with yourself. And as women, let's be real, we never are only concerned with ourselves. People need us so much, right? That the reality is we usually put ourselves last. So can self-care ever be an act of selfishness? Not for women, I don't believe so.
What do you guys say? Do you think that basically being selfish as women, it's not a thing? Like, we can't do that because we're just too much, at the service of others? What do you guys think? What are your definitions of self-care? And what is the balance between selfishness and self-care? Go ahead, Adil.
I think self-care is it's selfful, it's healthcare to me. Really, I can't give anything if I'm not well. For me, I can't take on the world. I can't thrive. I can't be the mother I want to be, the Muslimah I want to be, actually, if I'm not, my ibadah depends on it. I have to show up and be able to be a full human in my body. And if I'm not taking care of myself, something has to give, right? So for me, self-care is healthcare. It's essential. It cannot be put to the side. It's not an indulgence. It's a necessity for just being who I need to be. I think, like you said, Sister Risa said, it's our body is an amana. Allah entrusted our body to us, and in order for us to answer to that, we need to be able to give to ourselves. I don't know when it became selfish. Taking care of your kids, your parents, your doing your job, even your house sometimes gets more attention and energy than you do. You know what I mean? So for me, that is like self-care is healthcare.
I completely agree with what Idil said. And I'm glad that you mentioned that taking care of our kids or taking care of our parents, because would anyone say that taking care of our kids or taking care of our parents is selfish? And our parents are in a manner, when we look after them, our kids are in a manner to look after them. That's the same thing with our body. It's our body is in a manner, our mind is in a manner, our heart is in a manner. They are all gifts. So if taking care of our children is not selfish, then taking care of the other amanas, our mind, body, heart, our soul, is also not selfish.
I love that. And Sister Sarah says from the audience, she said, SubhanAllah, I never saw it that way before. So Sister Idil, thank you for dropping that, and Amira as well for backing that up. I really love that. I knew her to be Lisa Nichols because she just comes with those gems. That one there, she just comes with gems. So filling your own cup and serving from the overflow. Does that resonate with everyone? Khadija, you're the motherhood coach, babe. And everyone always says motherhood, well, motherhood is just giving, 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 and giving some more and giving some more. So what do you say to this?
I think for me, self-care it's about reclaiming your soul. It's taking back something for yourself, and you cannot give to others what you don't have. And I see that over and over time. So many women are depleted. Our cup is in not an overflow, it's in underflow. And until you reclaim back your soul, until you take back and give yourself back empower yourself and give back that power to yourself to say, I give myself permission to look after me. You cannot give. And the thing is, the messages that we send to our children, what is the message we're sending to our children if we're constantly in a place of selflessness, we're constantly giving? We teach others how they treat us. So we teach them to take and take and take. And what we want is a healthy relationship recognizes our own needs. It recognizes that we have the permission to stand up in our life and have needs, and we have a right to those needs and to show up in that space. So we cannot give to others what we don't practice ourselves.
That makes so much sense. I just want to speak to this for a second, guys, because, you know, many of us, we come from, you know, all over the world, you know, different countries, different cultures. But I'm wondering, what lessons did you learn about specifically motherhood, I think, and the place of kind of sacrifice and serving up and giving and giving and giving? What lessons did we learn from our mothers, do you think? Because as you're saying that, that we're always teaching others how to treat us. And I'm thinking of the idea of the long-suffering mother and wife who is, you know, really at the service of others all the time, and everybody is put first and everyone is more important than her. I mean, for any of our panelists or anybody in the audience, actually, what lessons do you think you have learned or internalized from your own mother and maybe your aunts and women from our mother's generation? What do you guys think?
I recently did a list of my mother's qualities, those that I loved and those that I didn't find so attractive and useful. And just to see which ones that I pick up, because we all take qualities from my mother, even though we don't always want to admit that we do, but we do. And one of the key qualities that I recently identified as being detrimental to myself, but also to my family, is not asking for help and being the superwoman. I'm like, I'm done being superwoman out here, yo. Like, not being able to say, do you know what, I can't handle the whole load. And especially culturally, being Yoruba women, we're known to be like, you just keep going, you know, we've got this. You've gone through. What do you mean you're sitting down? Come on, we're going, you know. I was like, no, I'm tired of all of that. Do you know what? I hang off the cape and I sit down and I say, do you know what? I'm good, I'm great, and I also need help. And that is not a sign of weakness. And I feel like women, we need to, it's really important. This is something I recently helped a client do, redefine what it means to be strong. What does that even mean? Because all of us want to be strong women, but usually the definition of being strong is to our own detriment. And I think and it puts us to the side, and it doesn't allow us to engage in acts of self-care and look after ourselves, and it runs us down. And I think just I saw for me that being this go go go, you've got this, girl, you know, you can't ask for help, and I was like, I'm not down for that anymore. And that's something that, alhamdulillah, I'm grateful that I've been able to identify, because I can stop that mess.
No, as you're saying that, I'm just thinking of a few conversations that I was seeing on social media talking about, you know, the things that we take on in terms of, you know, a strong woman, or, you know, a woman who's kind of got it under control, and you know, who's just that whole superwoman trope, I guess. Subhanallah. And yeah, and how it can actually be something that's detrimental to us. So even though, especially nowadays, as women who are, I guess, fairly modern in different degrees, we do feel we are capable of doing everything. And it's not even that. We are capable of doing everything and anything. However, if we are not careful with that kind of push to kind of do, maybe we could be sort of hurtling down a road that is not necessarily beneficial for us. I want to speak to some of what the audience is saying here. So, so my mom would literally break her back, bending over and serving everyone else. You know, Shadab says that she also felt that she was not allowed to ask for help. Tamkeen says, our mothers didn't know that they were the last generation that would martyr their self-care. Oh, that's a whole word right there. Not surprised, because that's Tamkeen, but hey, our mothers didn't know that they were the last generation that would martyr themselves. It's true. This new age is about taking back what should have been ours a long time ago. That is a whole word right there. And a lot of people saying the superwoman, yes, never asking for help, doing everything for everyone. And of course, Sarah says, now I'm the same, and I find it very hard to ask for help. And Shadab says, my aunt is constantly getting ill because she believes in only serving people. Very interesting. Thank you so much, guys. Just thank you so much for sharing with us, mashallah, those of you in the audience. Barakallahu feekum. Anybody else have you know, something to say to that?
I just want to add to what Farheen said. Sorry, Adil. She said that Superwoman spoke to me and not being able to say no. So that's the other thing, not being able to say no. Saying no when you can't do something, and when you're just really not able to, or going until the point where you have to say no and you're forced to say no, whether it's because of health issues or mental health issues or whatever. So yeah, self-care is also being able to say no. So you know, because people don't see it as, they see it as being selfish when you say no. So yeah,
I think to speak to that as well, Idil, I'd love you to come in, inshallah. But just speaking to that as well, as we said, we teach people how to treat us. And so it's almost like we have to teach our families that it's okay for me to say no. I still love you. I'm still here for you. But this time I'm saying no. And you need to be okay with that. That's why I say to my kids, I say, you know what, accept the no. Accept the no, because you're going to hear no sometimes, and that's life, and that's normal, and that's because mummy also needs to do whatever mummy is needing to do, you know. Go ahead, Adil. Sorry, I jumped in there.
No worries. For me, coming from like, my mom was the ultimate superwoman. She was taking care of everybody but herself. And recently we had a conversation where I said, I don't want to walk in your footsteps, because I was. And the no was difficult. I had to come to terms that I had a daughter and I was teaching her that. Like, that she was the last on the list. And as women, and Muslim women, and even being a Black woman, being at the totem pole of like the hierarchy of things, all the microaggressions we face every single day, like, just, and then having to not have time to sort of fill my cup was becoming this thing where, and I watched my daughter start these things, like start to do the same things. And I said, you know, it's enough, because it's time to practice radical self-care as women. To say no is a full sentence. You don't even have to.
Whoa, stop. Rewind and come again. You guys who are taking live video, you've got to take that again, okay? Brother, sister, you have to bring that again, girl, and say it for the people in the back.
Right? Because we have this thing where we say no and then there's an explanation because we lived in guilt, right? But no is a full sentence, and we need to own that, and we need to teach that to our kids. We need to it's an honoring yourself. Your word is enough. No should mean no. Those people who love you, who know you, who recognize that your no, when you say no, you obviously have a reason you did that, but it's not even the people around us, it's us. We have to kind of be comfortable and okay to step back and say no and give ourselves that time for whatever reason. So for me, it was difficult to say that to my mom, but there's a price that you pay. Whether it's now or later, it will show up physically. And I'm watching my mom, like, that physical toll that she's paid now with her health. So as women, we need to know that, whether it's now or later, these things, not taking care of yourself, there's a price to pay.
Can I just jump in there as well?
Please.
So even again on this topic of no, and I want to just reiterate it because it's so important. It's also having the courage to say no. Sometimes it does take courage to be able to say no, particularly to people who are, I would say, like I used to be, in the scarcity mentality where you feel as though if I don't do it all, I'm gonna lose an opportunity. Because it's not even just when it comes to saying no to your family or this. Sometimes it's opportunities. A lot of the time, especially for the women who will be in my workshop for entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs, high-powered, high-performing professionals, we need self-care, and we need to be able to say no even to things that look like opportunities to us, and and break that fear of missing out, or break that fear of losing an opportunity if we say no to it. And so we feel like we have to do everything because we're afraid to just commit and say, do you know what, this is a fantastic opportunity, it's a good one, but I need to give myself space so that I can then take on the great thing. And I think that that's also a space where people need to realize that is also part of self-care.
I love that. I remember hearing this a few years ago now, and I just thought that is amazing. Saying no to something good so you can say yes to something great. And I think that's what jumped out at me from what you said there, SubhanAllah. So all you entrepreneurs and professionals and, hard-working ladies, high achievers, go-getters, make sure you don't miss Sister Zara's workshop tomorrow, inshallah, because, it's going to be an eye-opener. Now, I want to just speak to this point because somebody mentioned about, do women equate love with doing for others? And this feels like a love languages kind of question. And when we talk about love languages, I always think to myself, I feel like previous generations were conditioned to see acts of service as the main love language, right? Do you guys agree with that? Because it was like we have so many women of a particular generation who really do see cooking for the family, serving the family, making everything, good for the family, acts of service basically, as the main way that they show that their love, to the point where I know many sisters whose mothers have never said I love you to them ever. Like that's not a thing, they don't hug them, they don't say I love you, there isn't any of the other stuff, they don't get them gifts or anything like that, but they will cook for them every time and they will look after them. Do you think that the whole acts of service and, is that a female thing? Is it a cultural thing? Is it an Islamic thing? Because somebody actually asked, did the female companions, where is it now? Did the female companions take care of themselves? That's a good one. I don't think any women of that time took care of themselves, to be honest. But what do you guys think about that in terms of, us, the way that we see serving others as being our main way that we show our love for, for the people around us?
I think it's definitely cultural, from my perspective anyways. I think it's definitely cultural. When you grow up in an African home, they're telling you from when you're like 8, you need to learn how to cook when you get to your husband's house. You need to, all of that. It's like, it's literally conditioned from when you are from when you were young. And the funniest thing is that I'm sure this isn't a marriage session, but I know that a lot of women thought that, yeah, by the time you cook for your husband and this, that should be it. And then you get a rude awakening when you actually get married and you realize that it's so much more than just
But I
cooking.
thought the way to a man's heart was through his stomach. What happened?
So they teach us, but there's so much more to it than that. So I think definitely culture has a role to play, but it also takes, you know, us on learning and learning new things as well, especially as parents. And you know, I love what you said about some parents will say, you know, especially when it comes to fathers as well, I paid for your school fees, you know, you have a home over your head, blah blah blah. What do you mean I don't love you? Like, or you've never said it, and they don't realize that those things are also important. And so we need to break that cycle.
Great. Well,
You know, it's like,
go on, Amira. Sorry.
no, yeah, it's like, you know, you think about taking that step back. You know, our childhood is where our subconscious mind was formed. So we picked up all these messages about boundaries, about, you know, everything that we picked up about everything is from unwounded parents. It's from wounded parents, right? Parents that weren't consciously aware. So if you think about now, our generation is becoming more consciously aware. So we see things like now, where I see in my work all the time, self-worth, productivity. That's like linked together, like yourself. So servicing others is related to my self-worth. We link doing to our self-worth. So, you know, ideally, if we were brought up by parents that we were seen, we were heard, if we got those messages, we were validated internally, then I think that the driving force is that we are repeating the patterns if we're not consciously aware. We're repeating the patterns of what is a boundary. Like most of us weren't taught what is a boundary. We're taught to people please. We're taught that, you know, I remember my grandmother would always say, oh, we're generations of warriors. Like we worry a lot. We have to worry. And I remember thinking, but why do I have to do this to worry? You know, why? So a lot of it, when we take that step back, our beliefs, our subconscious mind is where our behavior is driven. So we're actually just repeating the same habits in some ways until we become consciously aware and say, stop, this is unacceptable. I want better for myself. I want better for my generations to come.
I love that you said that we're generations of warriors, because I thought you meant warriors, like warriors. And that reminded me of the Yoruba women. Maybe they're like warriors, but you actually know warriors, which is slightly different. You know, obviously there's like so much that we can unpack here. And, you know, just to clarify for some of the audience, you know, we're not out here saying looking after others is bad. Okay, do you know what? I'm not going to speak to this. Race, come on, take it away, girl. You say it, because you're busy nodding. Because I know that people may feel a bit like, but I like cooking for my family. I like to be needed and I like to be of service. So are we saying, no, ladies, no more taking care of anyone else. You're the priority. Everybody else can go and do whatever.
Okay. All right. I'm going to talk about that in relation to Sister Farheen, who made a comment here. Women are meant to sacrifice the most, is one other lesson or quality learned from my mother, which my mother herself has learned. So I want to like break down that word, sacrifice. What does that mean? Does that mean sacrifice at all costs, at any cost? Your needs, your desires, your energy, your health, none of that matters. You're just a servant. You know, sacrificing yourself to give to someone else is an act of self-loathing, actually, because you're hurting yourself and you're destroying yourself and you're minimizing yourself because you don't see any value or worth within yourself subconsciously. You may not be actively saying it or recognize that that's what it means, because when you, what the type of sacrifice, what this type of sacrifice is that is pleasing to Allah, not people pleasing, but pleasing to Allah, is when you're already full, like you have that grounded connection with your Lord, that you're already full from that. You've given yourself what you need because of, you know, your value and your worth and the amana. So you're full, and the sacrifice that you're giving is from you're making to give, to serve, to help, to nurture, to parent, to cook, is coming from a place of fullness, sincerity, to please Allah. That's how it works, because then you don't have any resentment about it. Then you're giving openly and freely, not because you have to, but because you desire and you want to.
I love that, mashallah. I love that. And I think, inshallah, we're going to have more time to talk on these topics over the weekend, ladies. So, inshallah, what I'd love for each one of you to do, starting with Sister Afra, is to just give us a taster of your workshop over the weekend, what you're going to be sharing with us and who it's for. Because guys, the way that we've set up the program, you can attend all the talks. All the talks will be in the Facebook group, so you can watch them later. You will also receive the replays, so you can watch them once the weekend is over. So you don't have to kind of choose which workshop to go to. You can go to all of them. But Sister Afra, who is your workshop for, and what are you going to be sharing with us, inshallah, over the weekend?
So the workshop's for postpartum women, and the thing about that is you could say it's a new mom who's just had a baby, or you could say it's a mom like me who's been a mom for 7 years, because you could experience postpartum depletion for like 10 years after you've had a baby. So really it's for any mom. There's lessons to be learned for everybody, and you can learn how to take care of yourself once you have a baby. And if you're pregnant, even better, you learn how you're ahead of the game and you can prepare for that, and you can learn how to take care of yourself after and create a plan. So yeah, that's what we'll cover tomorrow.
Wonderful, mashallah. And ladies, if you do know anybody who is expecting or who has just had a baby, maybe in the first year afterwards, who you think will benefit from Sister Afra's workshop, please do send the link on to them. So send them a quick WhatsApp message and SMS just with the link, and let them know there is going to be a workshop that I think you should really attend, inshallah, this weekend, so that they can get a leg up, inshallah, on being able to look after themselves and hopefully avoid postpartum depletion, which is, subhanAllah, such a heavy, heavy, heavy burden to carry. May Allah make it easy for us all, alhamdulillah. Okay, Layinka, what are we going to, who is your workshop for, and what should we expect? We've got lots of people saying that they're looking forward to your workshop. I saw your name many times, so here we go.
Because I drop truth bombs, and I will be dropping 3 major truth bombs tomorrow around the concept of self-love. If you are a woman who routinely engages in self-care activities, you want to come tomorrow, inshallah. Ooh. Because I will be debunking the myth around self-care as an act of self-love. So come on and get some Layinka power. Yeah.
You look like you're limbering up, like you're just ready to go.
I'm ready. I'm ready to deliver tomorrow. So bring a notebook, bring yourself. If you're going to come, I would also say bring a handheld mirror.
Oh, thank you very much. That's an important piece of equipment. We don't want to miss out on that, inshallah. Sister Amira, are we going to need any handheld mirrors for your workshop, girl?
Fortunately not, but I do definitely recommend it in my programs. Definitely. I mean, you know, I've got one like right here on my desk. It's just, yeah, so important, alhamdulillah. But no, you won't need one for my session on Sunday, inshallah.
You were dropping off her chair.
Sorry, I'm a mess. But no, seriously, on a real. Amira, who is your workshop for, and what should they expect?
So my workshop essentially is for any women who are struggling with their sex lives, in a sense. It could be women who are currently married, who don't really feel that they have a satisfying sex life, women who are just struggling with kind of any area of marital intimacy. Obviously, I specialize in helping women with painful sex. So if that's something you're currently experiencing, then definitely come to the workshop. If you are a woman who knows that you have vaginismus, which is a condition where you struggle with penetrative sex, then definitely come to the workshop. If you're currently not married and you're kind of anxious and fearful around the idea of first time sex and the wedding night, then definitely come to the session. So in essence, any woman, whether married or not, struggling with a dissatisfying sex life or a fear of sex in general, then definitely come to the workshop, inshallah.
MashaAllah, amazing. And I have to say, obviously, I've known Sister Amira for a while, but guys, every one of these speakers, you should definitely follow them on Instagram. But if you or someone that you know is struggling with this area, it is one of those taboo topics that really people don't talk about. But it's such a real thing. And I remember, Sister Amira, you posted one of your clients who had not been able to be intimate with her husband, to have sex with her husband for 4 years due to vaginismus. And then you kind of shared her journey with your program and with you on actually being able to, after 4 years, people actually, you know, be intimate in that way, sleep with her husband. So if it is you, or you know someone, and if you do know someone, please tell them you need to be here. You need to come to this. It's your right. It's curable. There is a solution. So inshallah, if you guys know the virtual salon, you know that there is no shame in our game. Okay, like this is knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with, and we're going to be like the women, the Sahaba, the Sahabiyat, who used to ask these questions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam without feeling, you know, like, oh, this is so dirty or nasty or taboo, because we don't see intimacy, we don't see sex like that as Muslims. And so in this space, guys, you come with your questions, you come and you learn and you apply, and inshallah it's all good. Thank you, Amira. I'm really looking forward to that, inshallah. Sister Khadija, what should we look, who is your workshop for? Is it only for mums of boys? And what should we look forward to in your workshop, inshallah?
Sorry, trying to unmute myself. No, it's not for mothers or boys, it's for all mothers to be. So basically some tips from my own journey of how to build a private sanctuary within, amongst all the struggles and tests and things that we go through. It's specifically for women that have any kind of people-pleasing qualities, who have self-worth issues. I'm not good enough, unable to say no, you know, caring for everybody else's needs to the detriment of themselves, struggling with any kind of low self-esteem, low self-worth, feeling taken advantage of, any of those kind of things, conflict, all these things, and just want to show up and create that beautiful sanctuary within, which is so possible, reconnecting back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through our self-worth, self-care, reclaiming our soul, reclaiming what we need, and showing up as the mother that we want to be, inshallah.
MashaAllah, I can't wait for that, alhamdulillah. Really, really looking forward to that, alhamdulillah. Zahra, what about you, my dear? Who should be there and what should we expect?
Wow. Okay, so my workshop is for my serial entrepreneurs, my high-performing women that is running that side hustle business, working the 9 to 5, kids at home, husband at home, trying to do it all, take over the world, living off of adrenaline, 2 hours of sleep, literally, that woman. And I know that, you know, there's a couple of you in the house that know exactly what I'm talking about. And my workshop is how to break the boom and bust cycle, because so many women, particularly women who are, you know, high performing women, running businesses, working, doing all of that stuff, you know, they operate in a boom and bust cycle where they're booming, buzzing, things are going well, and they crash and burn, and, you know, take forever to get back up and going again, and they just continue that. And, you know, inshallah, we will be, you know, looking at how to break free from that cycle, how examining what limiting beliefs are pushing you to operate in that cycle. We'll be looking, inshallah, at practical tips and, you know, in terms of how to, you know, set boundaries, how to create a healthy routine, etc., etc., etc. So I'm really looking forward to the session. Inshallah, come ready to do some work. I have a worksheet that's going to be prepared, inshallah, for the session. So come ready to do some work, because we're going to dig deep and we're going to make some commitments, inshallah, to make those changes, to have a more healthy and wholesome approach to work and life, inshallah.
Love it, mashallah. Sounds absolutely amazing. And Idil, what about you? Who is your workshop for? I.e. everyone, but what should we expect, inshallah, from your workshop?
Exactly. If you're eating, you need
right?
to
It's kind of easy. Yeah, it's a good one.
But really, if you're exhausted, if you have gut health issues, if you have hormonal issues, if your hair is falling out, if you find yourself with cystic acne, or if you have your period when missing, you've heard the phrase food is medicine. For me, that I live by that phrase. That is because food is the most important or the most powerful drug in the world. And it is information. It really informs every cell in your body and how you show up in the world. So I want you to stop debiting from your future self and your health and start investing by feeding yourself intentionally, nourishing on a cellular level. And let's talk about how we can use our regular, everyday pantry staples to feed ourselves and to heal. So I hope to see you there.
Oh, that sounds so good. Oh, mashallah, that's going to be excellent. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. And when you say pharmacy, you think of it as pharmacy, F-A-R-M-A-C, don't you?
Yeah, from the farm to your table, really. You know, if you think about food and herbs and spices, they were the ultimate medicine, right? Even in our deen, there's a lot of food that is mentioned in the Quran. Food is God, like Allah has given us food from the earth to heal us, to nourish us, to help us thrive, and we have moved from that to pharmaceutical medicine. And the thing, I'm not saying pharmaceutical medicine doesn't have a place, but really we eat 3 times a day. And so what's at the end of your fork is really your ultimate form of healthcare and self-care, and it is really decides who you're going to be today, tomorrow, a year from now, 10 years from now. How are you going to age? How are you going to move in your body, your mental capacity, everything. And if you don't believe me, I have the proof. I have experienced all of this. I know we live in a world where we feel like this, the badge of honor of busyness, and we're all just really like exhausted. And I feel like it's time to stop and remember that it's essential to take care of yourself. You're teaching not just your family, but you really are like investing in this amana that Allah gave you. It's a form of ibadah.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing kind of that slightly different take on self-care, which, as you said, if you're eating, you need to know this. So like all of y'all better be there, inshallah. Raisa, who is your workshop for, and what should we expect?
My workshop is for any woman who is thinking about divorce, who is going through a divorce, already divorced, for any woman who feels that her marriage is breaking down, has broken down, and in the process, she is feeling like she's broken down. A lot of, we have been conditioned to believe that our marital status is attached to our value and our worth. And so there's a lot going on underneath, and I am going to be addressing these topics of just breakdown, and my topic is going to be about how to be unbreakable beyond divorce, and discovering your innate resilience and confidence that it's nothing that you have to do, it's already there within you, and you just lost sight of it for now, to get back to that whole, healed, healthy space, and really get back to our fitrah, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, to not allow and have anyone or anything have the power to break us.
I love that, mashallah. Fantastic. Ladies, we've got a long day tomorrow and a long day on Sunday. So I want to just thank every single one of you amazing ladies who are speaking this weekend, those of you who are attending, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. I just want to say I appreciate you. I thank you for being here. I thank you for being so generous with your time and your knowledge. Guys, all of you, the panelists, mashallah, virtual salon chat's always lit, and they're always so appreciative, mashallah. So thank you guys. Just send love to the panelists, make dua for them and their families so that they're able to continue to do this work, and so we can continue to learn from them, inshallah. I'm looking forward to learning as well with everyone. And if, as you know, I'm also going to be doing a short workshop on if you only had 6 months. We are going to be doing some practical work on really taking stock of where we are, you know, what we want to keep doing, what we want to stop doing, what we want to do more of, etc., and making some real changes right now in terms of our consciousness and our time. So I want to thank you, precious ladies, for your time this evening. Everyone has the program. You've all got the emails. The Facebook group is there. You can go in there and, you know, talk more about the session later. The panelists, you are more than welcome to go into the Facebook group and engage with people in there as well. But for now, let's call it a night and let's see everybody. I believe our first talk is at 1 o'clock UK time tomorrow, inshallah. So you have the links in your email. We will see you there, bi'idhnillah. And if you know anyone who needs to attend any of these workshops or who needs to watch back over this replay, which will be available, then make sure you send them the link to get their ticket so that they can join us, inshallah, tomorrow. But for now, I just want to say, Jazakum Allahu khairan, Subhanak Allahumma Rabbana bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, wa astaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.